a wake-up call. Of course, he is one of the most outspoken Republican critics of President Trump. In fact, here are some of the comments he gave recently on many airwaves criticizing President Trump.
I thought Trump looked very tired up there. I mean, very tired. Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un and others, they think he's a laughing fool. And they're fully prepared to take advantage of him. Trump's self-absorption makes it impossible for him to understand that.
Are you worried that they're going to come after you in some way? I mean, he's hinted at it before.
Well, I think he's already come after me and several others in withdrawing the protection that we had for from the Iranians for the attack on Qasem Soleimani. So I think, and I said in the new forward to the paperback edition of my book, I think it is a retribution presidency.
All right, pleased to bring in our panel to weigh in on all of these angles. Former Trump spokesperson Liz Harrington with us, and he is former Trump 2016 foreign policy advisor, Newsmax contributor George Papadopoulos. All right, so we know that Bolton, who has not issued a statement, will probably come out and say it is retribution or weaponization. But interesting, the book, classified information, the room where it happened, there was already pushback on some of the information, citing improper clearance. Now this new nugget, I'm going to start with you, George. What about his revocation of the security clearance, something that CIA Director Ratcliffe may have flagged to Kash Patel? You don't just go and raid someone's house. They got a warrant. They got a judge to sign off on this movement today, George.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Bianca. Look, no one is above the law, and this is becoming very evident to people who allegedly did break the law, whether they were a former national security advisor, a former UN ambassador, and now basically moonlighting as a useful idiot for the left on national television, any chance that he can get. It's quite evident that he had a security clearance taken away in the beginning of the Trump administration. He no longer has a protective detail. However, he is now under criminal investigation for potentially leaking classified information and withholding classified information. This is a very serious allegation, and we'll have to see how far this really goes.
Yeah, a federal magistrate judge in Maryland approved it this morning. Deputy Director of the FBI, in addition to Kash Patel's post, also said public corruption will not be tolerated. And Liz, I want to get your reaction to Roger Stone's post this morning to the news of Bolton's home and office being raided. He said, "Good morning, John Bolton. How does it feel to have your home raided at 6 o'clock in the morning?" Of course, Stone's home was also raided in Florida. And cameras, shockingly, of legacy media were there capturing it all. The other interesting note, too, about all that is that, his home is being raided. But there was also a question about when, his past comments when Mar-a-Lago was raided. He was all for that, Liz.
Right. And of course, there was no tip off to Newsmax this morning for the raid. How political and disgusting what the FBI did under President Trump's first term, and it continued. I mean, this is nothing compared to what President Trump supporters had to endure, and President Trump himself with the weaponization of the government, using every ounce of its power to try to crush you. He should be held accountable if he's broken the law. I think what people have been clamoring for is one standard of justice. That's what we've always wanted. Honestly, I hope this is the first of many, because I want to see the FBI itself held accountable for what they have done against President Trump, that illegal raid on Mar-a-Lago. There's so many things that they've done over the past decade. Yeah. I hope this is the tip of the iceberg of people being held to account.